All right, the fallout from that nasty exchange involving the former speaker and the guy who wants to be the next president of the United States. Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, supporting Ted Cruz. Senator, what did you make of what Mr. Boehner had to say about your candidate?
Look, I don't know. I don't know John Boehner very well, but one thing I do know is he doesn't know Ted Cruz. I do. Ted Cruz is a good man. He's a man of his word. He's a man who does exactly what he says he's going to do. So I don't think that's helpful. I wish Mr. Boehner wouldn't say that because it simply isn't true. But regardless, the American people aren't going to simply listen to what John Boehner has to say. They're going to look for someone who can provide actual leadership for this country and who can help restore the kind of constitutionally limited government that we desperately need. And that man is Ted Cruz, regardless of what John Boehner happens to think when he's caught with a live mic.
But, you know, you got to wonder, because it does feed Donald Trump's narrative, Senator, that those who work closest with him really didn't and don't like him. How did that happen? You know, how did because very few have come out as you have to announce your support and say some good things about him. And I just wonder why that is.
Well, look, first of all, we have to emphasize again that John Boehner is not one of those people who has worked closely with him. Secondly, we've now got 3 Republican U.S. senators who have endorsed Ted Cruz. Others haven't yet, but a lot of others have indicated that they have voted for him, that they will vote for him, that they'll likely end up supporting him at some point in one way or another. The fact is, most Republican U.S. senators tend not to endorse a presidential candidate until they're relatively certain who that candidate's going to be. We've got a few who have endorsed him. We've got a bunch who haven't, but that's not anything terribly unusual.
You know what's weird about it, Senator, and you're closer to this, and you know the system well, and you're quite right. I mean, there's always a bit of angst. I remember when then Senator Barack Obama decided to run for president, even some in the Senate, Democrat and Republican, said, well, you just got here, you're already running for president. They always, you know, wince and chafe at someone trying to go for the brass ring. Part of that's understandable. But there was at least a well of support for him among those in the party, even those who preferred Hillary Clinton at the time. But you don't see that with Ted Cruz. And I'm wondering if he does go all the way, whether that's going to be a problem. Getting along with Washington to making change, to getting what he wants done. What do you think?
Well, first of all, as far as working with Congress, it's hard to imagine that a Republican Congress would have a hard time working with Ted Cruz compared to the hard time that we've had working with Barack Obama. I don't think you'll find one Republican senator.
What about working with Donald Trump?
Republican Congress.
Obviously, some of them are saying we don't flip over Donald Trump either, but we prefer him marginally more than Ted Cruz.
Look, Ted Cruz keeps his own counsel. Ted Cruz is his own man. Ted Cruz is a man of his word. He campaigned based on a desire to restore constitutionally limited government. He has fought for that. There's no question that he disagrees with people from time to time. But there's also no question that the American people want someone who is different, want someone who is willing to stand on his own principles, especially when it's difficult.
Do you think that picking Carly Fiorina now is going to help him in Indiana, more importantly, I guess, down the road in California? Or is it so crucial now that he's got to win Indiana? Forget about focusing on California.
Well, Indiana is absolutely important, and I think Carly Fiorina will help him. Carly Fiorina is an impressive, longtime conservative. She is someone who has fought her entire life for principles that are associated with the conservative movement. She's someone who shares the same principles that Ted Cruz shares in terms of the need to restore constitutional limitations on our government that have been neglected over time. I think it's a perfect fit, and I think they're going to do very well working together, not only on the campaign trail, but also in the White House.
All right, Senator, it's always good having you. Thank you for taking the time. Senator Mike Lee.